Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of the Red Loosey podcast. My name is Loosey and today I'm here with Josh Langley, WA-based author of 8 books, which soon to be 9, and winner of the 2018 ABIA Small Publishers Children's Book of the Year for your book It's Okay to Feel the Way You Do. So, thank you for coming.
Thank you, Lucy. I'm very chuffed to be here. Very excited.
Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. So to start off, I'm going to have a bit of a fun quick fire round where I'm going to ask you some would you rather-esque questions.
Okay.
So just choose your preference of the thing that you feel.
And I can't think too much about
this?
this?
No, just go straight for it. Okay, so smart or casual?
Oh, very casual. Casual.
Mm-hmm. Non-fiction or fiction?
Non-fiction.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Reading or writing?
Writing.
Writing. I mean, you are an author, so left or right?
Left.
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 Are you left-handed?
No, I'm right-handed, but I just have this fixation with going left. Turn left. Turn left.
All the time. Turn left. TV shows or movies?
Oh, good one. Good one. I would say TV shows.
Yeah. Night or day?
Day.
Day.
Definitely day. I'm not a vampire or anything like that, so.
That's a very good thing. Sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
Sunrise.
I get up early in the morning.
Yeah. Rain or shine?
Oh, I like both.
Yeah.
Can I just go both?
You can go both.
I'll go both.
Family or friends?
Friends.
Friends.
Yep.
Invisibility or flight?
Oh, I'd go flight.
Flight.
Yeah, flight.
Yeah. Cafe or restaurant?
Cafe, relax, goes with my casual nature, you know.
And last but not least, sweet or savoury?
Definitely savoury.
Savoury?
Savoury all the time. Sausage rolls, yummy things, just tasty bits, grazing plates, all that.
Yeah.
Bits of salami and cheese and all that. That's me.
Yeah.
You can take your sweeties and your cakes. Well,
I'll take the sweets and you can have the...
yeah, okay, done.
Yeah.
See? That's a perfect combination.
Deal.
Done.
Yeah.
Deal.
Okay, so let's get into the questions.
Okay.
So when or how did you get into writing, and have you always wanted to be a writer?
Okay, strange thing, I had actually never wanted or planned to be an author. Or
Really?
Never wanted to be a writer. No, it wasn't on my radar. I used to draw as a kid.
Yeah.
And I used to write stories, but it wasn't like something I go, oh, when I get older, I want to keep doing this.
Yeah.
It was like, I'll do it now, and I did it then. And then about 10 years ago, I was bored one day. And I was sitting at home at the computer, and I just started to draw little stick figures and put quotes with them, and I just eventually put them all together and created a Facebook page, a blog, and it turned into this concept called Frog in the Well.
Yeah.
And that eventually started to be my first book.
Yeah.
And then that got a bit of traction. The publisher loved it and said, can you write some more?
Yeah.
And then I was also in the middle of writing a non-fiction book, it wasn't about me wanting to write to express myself at that time. It was more about, I'm curious about something. The only way I can find out about it is to write about it.
Yeah.
And so the writing came as a default thing.
Yeah.
And 8 books later, as you said in the intro, and I'm still doing it. So it's not something I set out to do, but I really love doing it now.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
So it just almost came to you and it felt like a passion.
It's instead of a passion, it was like I was curious about something, and then I followed that and went, where is this going to go?
Yeah,
where does this go?
You can find that out by writing.
Exactly, and the writing and the illustrating, that sort of led me to feel, wow, I'm being able to express myself in a way I never would have.
Yeah, that's
and
really
then that allows me to keep going forward with that.
Yeah.
And then it ends up, it's the messages in my books that become my passion.
Yeah.
Not exactly the actual process of writing, but it's getting the messages out there that I'm passionate about.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So, a bit more personal, what school did you go to? And
primary school or high school?
Primary school.
Primary school. I went to this school in Shenton Park in Perth called Roseley Primary.
Roseley Primary.
And they're still there. I think they celebrated their 90th anniversary. It's very old school. My dad even went there. I was like, it's that old. It's like 107. Yep. And high school, I went to Hollywood High School in Netherlands, and that's no longer there. They bulldozed the whole lot and turned it into apartments and stuff. But I think they merged that with Shenton College.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I went to school.
I'm in love with your illustrations. Like, whenever I read your books, I'm just, they're so sweet, they're so quirky.
I
love them so much.
Thank you.
Why did you just decide to illustrate your books, and how did your publisher, did they want you to, or?
Well, I was already doing the illustrations anyway, and when I did this Frog in the Well thing, and it was sort of, I wanted to create simple, look, if you look at my illustrations, they're not amazing. I take my hat off to all the amazing illustrators out there. They're just brilliant. And I don't have a patch on them. But I wanted to create something that's really, really simple.
Yeah.
That people could relate to.
Yeah.
So the illustration doesn't get in the way of the message. And so stick figures and animals with big eyes and things like that. And that was just the way I could feel I can convey what I was trying to say without getting in the way. And I find illustrating, it's kind of hard in a way. You talk to any illustrator and you'll find that to start, you go, but once they get into it, they get into that zone. You're filling in things, you're drawing things, you're making the characters come to life, and that's what I find. And I find that really, once you're in that zone, it's fantastic. But I don't illustrate, I don't draw when I'm not writing a book.
So it only comes when you're writing?
Only, which is really strange. I don't do it as a hobby. It's only when I'm actually writing a book. Like at the moment, I've just finished the text for book 4 of the kids series. Yeah. And I've now then gone to start illustrating. But I don't draw any other times. Like I know a lot of other illustrators just love to draw and they love to doodle and stuff like that. No, I don't.
So the words almost inspire you to write or get... To draw, they
do. Once I get the it's also I'm really lazy. It's like when you write the manuscript and you do the illustrations and you send it to the publisher, and the publisher goes, I don't know if I like that picture. Maybe can you do another one? And go, all the effort. So what I've done now is actually write the text first. And then do a description of what the illustration is, and then they'll go, that's a great idea, and then I'll draw the illustration.
That's a smart way.
It is, and then when I do that, when you finish all the illustration, you can look back and you go, wow, that's pretty good. I actually like that.
So even though proud of it.
Even though it may be a stick figure with crazy hair, but does it convey the message that the text is trying to say? Or does it, that's another topic for another time. What does the illustration do with the text? What are you trying to say with that statement? Is that illustration, is it reinforcing it? Is it being a visual metaphor? Is it what's it actually doing? And that's what I find is the interesting thing when you try and do the illustrations for these books. What are they trying to do?
That's really interesting. On your website, you described your world as unconventional. Why did you decide to use that word? Where did that come from?
I've always thought differently from other people. I don't do normal. I don't do traditional. I think slightly differently from... I think a lot of writers actually always think differently from a lot of other people. It's not like... This is my life. I go to work and I go home and I do this and I eat cheese and I watch TV and I go to bed. No, it's you look at life sideways and you go, like say for example, if there's a problem arises and we all get enveloped in problems and issues and stuff, but if we can just go, how do I look at that differently? And I think being a sort of a writer, or I hate to say it, a creative person, we're all creative, by the way. We can just change the way we view something. And something that other people go, that's a terrible thing. You can go, well, maybe something good's come out of that. What positive that we can take away? And it's that kind of thinking that I love to do, and that's the unconventional thinking. And I want unconventional thinking to become conventional, because then we wouldn't be so highly strung, have so much anxiety in the world and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I use the word unconventional, because it's unconventional for normal mainstream society.
That's a great message. I think positivity. Now your books are all about helping others and teaching kids really valuable messages, but if there was only one thing that you could give your kids, only one piece of advice you would teach other people, what would it be?
That's really hard.
Yeah.
I suppose when you boil it down is to make friends with yourself.
Wow, really?
Yeah, because you are going to live with yourself all your life.
Yeah.
Family will come and go, friends will come and go, but you've got to live with you. And you've got to sit there with this internal voice in your head, and you've got to make friends with that. You've got to make friends with your body, you've got to make friends with the voice in your head. Otherwise, we're always going to be at conflict. We're always going to be fighting, and we're going to, you know what it's like when you have a bad thought. You go, "Oh, I'm a bad person. I've done this," and you feel down. And how can we be more gentle with ourselves?
Yeah.
How can we go, "Okay, no, that's okay. I've had that thought. Maybe I could sort of look at that thought from a different way. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself." And it's that is the message that I must be give as the main message for everyone, kids, adults included.
I think you're giving that, like, you're spreading that message really well. And I think by writing these books, you're really helping kids to learn new morals and things.
Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. When you are writing, where does your inspiration come from? Does it hit you like a certain place or a thing or a
like
person?
an asteroid coming out of the sky?
Yeah.
It could come from any time. It could. It even could be the publisher going, "Josh, I think it's about time you wrote another book."
Yeah.
Go, "Oh, what am I going to write about now?" Because I've covered a lot, and it's okay to feel the way you do. I've covered a lot, and Being You Is Enough, and the new book that's coming out, Magnificent Mistakes. That's covers a fair bit, and but I suppose I keep coming back to what would I tell myself as a kid. Like now that I'm an adult, what would I go tell myself as a kid to help him thrive in life? And it's like, okay, what's one other thing? What's another thing? And I'll go, well, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this. And I go, okay, well, look, what about kindness?
Yeah.
How do I encourage my younger self to be a bit kinder? And so that's where I think, okay, that's an idea. That's where it's come from. And so that is the topic of the next book. Okay.
Interesting.
Don't tell anyone. Anyway.
So, like, your books are almost a letter to yourself.
Basically, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Now, you mentioned your next book, Magnificent Mistakes and Fantastic Failures. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Well, it's inspired by me, because I've failed school, I failed high school. I have made so many mistakes in my life, and I was constantly getting in trouble as a kid. I set fire to the couch once, and
really? I want to hear about that.
It's when your parents first teach you to use a match, you use a box of matches, and suddenly, wow, your whole world opens up. What else can I set on fire? I was like an 8 or 10 or something.
Couch.
And I was burning a bit of paper. I was burning this because my dad had a box of matches, and I'm getting that up. And I set this bit of paper on fire.
Oh, no.
And it was like in the living room.
Yeah.
And I heard someone, like either mum or dad, get up and I went, stuff it under the couch.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, that's a smart thing to do.
No.
and then of course, there's smoke started coming out from under the couch. And I'm going, what do I do now?
Oh,
and I thought, I'm going to have to go. So I went and told Dad, I think the couch is smoking. It wasn't my fault. No.
It just appeared.
It just appeared. It just started happening.
Yeah.
So, so little things like that. Anyway, so the book is based on getting kids to understand that once you look at a mistake, it doesn't have to be the end of the world. You look at it differently. Own up to that mistake and go, okay, well, look, that was me. I've done that. What can I do to either fix it? What can I learn from it? And then to move on.
Yeah.
To go, okay, well, look, that's done. I've learned from it. Let's keep going with life. Because a lot of people, they hold on to that mistake and they just keep overthinking it. And they think they're a bad person for that. And I'm going, no, we're just human beings. That's what we do. We make mistakes and we learn from them. And the failures part is I failed high school, did all that sort of stuff. But if I hadn't have failed high school, I wouldn't be here writing kids' books, talking to you.
Yeah, that's what makes us ourselves.
Exactly. And it's all the topic of resilience and looking at problems in a different way. And when you think you're different as a kid, you think you're the only one that's different. No, there's actually other kids out there that are very similar to you. And one of the last messages in the Magnificent Mistakes is that you are important to the world.
Yeah.
I want every kid to know that, because a lot of kids, they get so worked up, or it's a really bad family life, or in a bad situation, or everything's really, and I want them to know, that at the core of them, they are important. They're going to go on and do amazing things.
Yeah, okay? They're loved.
They're loved, all that stuff, and they've got a creativity, they've got love to give, and that's what the world needs.
Yeah.
So that's what I want kids to walk away with from reading this book.
That's brilliant.
Because mental health and anxiety with kids, it's just incredible. So that's the contribution for this book.
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. So the other day I was reading your blog and you said that you found writing really hard, partly due to dyslexia, partly due to anxiety. How do you overcome that, like particularly dyslexia?
I take it slowly.
Yeah.
It's like, I know that, like, say if I've written a paragraph, I will write it the way I write it, okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and reread it and go, oh, that doesn't make sense. Or it will take me a while to actually read it because this is the first time I've actually spoken about this, is I look at a paragraph and all the words look all at once.
Yeah.
I can't, normal people just read it from left to right. All the words are just there. And and I instinctively look at the centre word.
Yeah.
And I don't look at all the rest. So I'm not reading and I'm not editing properly.
Yeah.
And a lot of that can be due to the anxiety, where I just want to keep moving, just keep going, and the undiagnosed dyslexia. I'm sure I have it. It just means all these words get jumbled up, and letters get jumbled up, and so I just have to take it a little bit slower than what I want. I want to race it home, finish it, and go, yay, here we go.
Yeah.
But the editing process just takes me a lot longer to do that.
Is that difficult? Like, do you ever get deadlines?
No, luckily my publisher doesn't give me deadlines.
Okay, good.
But because another job that I do is actually write radio commercials.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So that's where I earn a big chunk of my money. And so there are deadlines for that.
Yeah.
So I have to write a radio commercial, 3 or 4, and it has to be due the next day.
Yeah.
So that pressure to come up with the idea, then write it, and then edit it to make sure that all the spellings, because someone's going to voice it.
Yeah.
So they've got to read it.
Yeah,
so
as well as dyslexia.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So and I'm renowned for missing out little joining words like to and of, or you go back and edit a sentence and you've changed got the tense wrong, or your plurals are all over the place. And it's like, every writer goes through the same thing, but for me, it just feels like it doesn't come naturally, it doesn't come easily, but I have to work at it. But it's the way I want to express myself.
Of course, yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, wow. So what advice would you give to young aspiring authors out there, people who want to write a book or like put themselves into like what they're writing?
Is to write.
Right.
The amount of times I get people saying to me, well, I've got an idea for a book. How do you think I'll get it published? Write the book. Just write it. Whether you think you can or can't, it doesn't matter. Write it. Every first draft is meant to be an ugly first draft.
Yeah.
It's meant to look terrible. It's meant to no one's meant to see it, because you look at it and go, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote that. But it's a brain dump.
Yeah.
And people are so afraid of that first step, because they think that first thing's got to be perfect. They think, oh, it's going to be a work of genius if I start writing. It's going to be perfect. No, get it out first. And that's my advice for everyone, because everyone gets stagnated at that, or they stop at that first point, and they just sit with their dream, and then their dream slowly dies.
Yeah.
And that's sad, because everyone's got a story to tell.
Yeah. Wow.
So just start writing and keep writing.
I've spoken to a few authors about this. Are you like a planner when you write? Do you plan your story, or do you just write like you've just said? That's a good question. With these kids' books, I have to have a loose plan. Yeah.
It has to. I have to have the main idea. What's the message I want to convey?
Yeah.
And I have to actually go, well, I need to take kids on this journey. Talk about this, then talk about that. Talk about this, and then wrap it up again. And then show at the end how that relates back to that. And so I have to have a loose plan, but in between there's all... no holes barred, anything goes.
Just do it,
exactly.
So I think that does about wrap up this episode of the Red Lucy podcast. Remember to pre-order Josh's book, magnificent mistakes and fantastic failures here at Dymocks Busselton, and if you're not in the area, you can always hop onto his website at joshlangley.com.au. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a like on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, comment, and leave us a review on iTunes. So thank you for watching, goodbye, and keep reading.